Welcome
her
to
name
another
again?
edition of the Right Direction, London 89.9 FM. With me, I'm working in good conditions. Three beautiful ladies. So, sir, how are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Very good. Rosetta, I like the colors.
Oh,
How are you
thank you.
today?
Thank you. I'm good.
Great.
Thank you.
And Josephine?
I'm good, thank you.
Great, great. You all look beautiful. Look, this is like, I'm Charlie. These are the angels. All right. I know we can laugh, but we get to serious matters because something happened in London on the 29th of September. A 15-year-old girl, let me pull out her name, is Elaine Adam, was stabbed to death uh, on a London bus. It shocked everybody. But as the stories kept on unfolding, it was over teenage relationships. And I know, may her soul rest in peace, another young man is in prison charged with this offense. We have to look at ourselves as a society. I want to bring it over to the ladies and ask the relationship part. Um, Josephine, today, I'm going to start with you. A 15-year-old having relationships. We know we live in Britain and everything goes, but let's look at the emotional side of having dealing with a relationship. Are 15-year-olds capable? What did we see here?
I mean, I wouldn't really put it on her being in a relationship. I believe he was admiring her and aspiring to be, have something to do with her, which she didn't want. She didn't want him, and that was what caused this whole saga
Saga.
about him getting upset that the friend threw back all the flowers and the notes that he had written to her back to him. So it's not a case of, I don't think they had anything. It was, he was trying to chat her up. It's somebody that believed
So he couldn't deal with rejection.
he couldn't deal with
With
rejection,
rejection,
exactly.
yes.
So that was what actually broke the
Just
camel's
the
back.
back.
And then her friend intervened, hence the reason why he just lost it.
Flipped and,
yeah.
and did what he did.
Yeah.
Now that is it. 15-year-old in a relationship. Um, Rosetta, are we ready? It happens. It's just until this case, this case ended up in a very bad way. Is the Can 15-year-olds, are they really capable of handling rejection and things attached to a relationship?
Well, I think it depends on what angle you look at it from. 15-year-olds, whether we like it or not, they are in relationships. I'm talking about sexual relationships. Yes, that is the trend. It's the world we live in now. So, if as parents, if you're not open with your children to say, let me know what you're doing. If you have a boyfriend, I want to know him. I would want to know, so that I can support my daughter properly. And I don't want her to be hiding stuff from me. I think we need to promote that openness so that your children can feel comfortable to approach you as a parent. Yes. Besides that, I don't think it is right for. I think the situation didn't demand what became the end of
Well,
it.
of
No,
course, we all agree.
no.
What
Yeah.
was that young boy doing with
With a
a
knife
knife?
on the way to
On
school.
the way to school. But then again, I'm asking that questions, and I think I can answer part of that question. Is the fact that our young people, some of them say they don't feel safe on the street. And then you look at then some
They
of
want to
part of
protect
it,
themselves.
yeah, they want to protect themselves. Part of it is that some of them actually belong to gangs. Yes, so they're always looking over their shoulder. And that is what we're dealing with. And what
It is.
happened in the mix of it is that a girl who was trying to protect her friend became
Got,
the victim.
yeah.
And this young person just couldn't think. The anger came. He was not in control of himself, and I think he just committed the act before he could even think about it. And that's why. And what does that cost? It means this little girl,
She's lost her
she's
life.
lost her
Lost her
life, and
life.
her parents, apparently she's the
So
only
another
child.
child. Yeah.
And what do you say to people? Sorry is not even good enough.
Not
I
at all. Not
sympathize
at
with you.
all.
It's not even good enough.
No.
What do you say to such?
You see,
Yeah.
Esosa, would and you would say the caller we had the other time talked about grown men stabbing, killing their wives. In this particular case, would you say you didn't if it's not the age, if it's not the age of the boy,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything, is this possible? If it's not that the age and the boy is not used to relationship rejection. I know he had a knife. As you've stated, the knife is for, I'm sure the knife was never to stab a girl. You know, if it's not the age, if it's not the lack of experience, this situation, I don't think it would have happened. Are 15-year-olds capable? Are they dealing in something that they don't understand?
I don't think they are dealing with something they do not understand. I think they are dealing with something that the society teach them to make them believe is the norm. I think it boils down to misogynistic, that a woman shouldn't have a voice. You can't reject me. As a guy, I tell you what to do and you just do as you say. If I say I want you to be my girlfriend, you have to be my girlfriend. Otherwise, why will a 15-year-old not understand the word no? What's so difficult to understand in no? That no, I do not want to be your girlfriend. No, I do not want your flowers. There
Maybe
is nothing wrong with somebody saying no to you, not unless you have been conditioned to believe that women do not have a voice. Woman cannot say no to you. I think that's what happened when the boy now believes that a woman cannot say no to me.
what about no is not enough, is not old enough? You know, I know many parents, you know, even close to me, because of the society we live. And as you said, your child shouldn't hide anything from you. So if your 13 or 14-year-old child came home and said they had a boyfriend, you would appreciate the fact that they told you rather
Yes.
than the fact that it's wrong.
Yes.
You understand? Now, what should you do about that?
But that's your expectation as a parent. But do the children actually come home and tell you?
They do.
They do.
That's what I want to ask.
If you give them the avenue, if you're too harsh, yeah, you will lose them in the process.
Good.
If you don't create that atmosphere where they can actually come home and say, Mommy, guess what?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to tell you, I'm seeing somebody. And what the right parents would actually say is have a proper conversation with them and talk about contraception.
However, what
And
we are
all of
saying
that,
here,
yes,
Rosetta,
yeah.
the girl is not the one at fault here.
No,
She's
I
not the
know.
one that caused the problem. It's the boy now who could not take the rejection, who reacted to the rejection. Even that's what your question is
Yes,
related
but
to.
what
No,
I'm
but the
saying is,
question-
what I'm
yeah.
saying is, sorry, if we stay, so we'll catch
Yeah.
you guys. If we stay like in the UK as a whole, prior to this incident, I know a lot of young people that are in relationships and their parents would much rather know. And that's where it ends. It's not like I don't hear them. In fact, they're inviting them for Christmas. 15-year-old, tell your boyfriend to join us, tell your girlfriend to join us, you know. But if we speak really as knowing relationship, and we can speak to the society, I am one of those people that think, as they say about cigarettes or anything, you're not capable of starting a relationship till
Yes,
you are a
as a
certain
matter of
age.
fact, yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So maybe this is the crux. I feel for the parents. But once again, I would ask, really, can a 15-year-old handle a relationship? Joseph,
No.
No.
Joseph, there's many
They
15-year-olds in
can
relationships.
have a relation. They're not mature enough. But if you just say, "Can a relation with 15-year-old have a relationship?" and we say no, they're having it anyway. So your no is a weak no because they are doing it. So the question should be: are they matured enough to, and do they understand what they're going into? And I would say, because of their age, they're not really mature enough to know what they are going into. But they will have a relationship because it's where you tell them not to go. That's where they want
wanna
to go
go.
because they're inquisitive and they want to know why mommy and daddy are saying we shouldn't. And they go and do their little things and they find out all this, you know. So if you say no to them, your no will not always work. You have to say a no with a but and be open that you are there for them when they want to. Just say to them, I will be here if you want to talk about it, because at that point they will know that you as the mom knows that something is going on because you're not a child, you are their mother. Yes.
So, do you think now it's, we talk, is it the case to highlight to the government? Is it the case that the government probably don't want to look at because they're looking at other things. Like I said, alcohol. They look is not enough for you to just. Is you know what I'm saying? Is it a society problem that the government just
It is a societal problem.
yes
I agree with you. It is a societal problem. However, I don't think it's something that the government can address, or they are already addressing it. I remember years ago the way they are actually addressing this now. I think probably you're looking at it from an emotional point of view.
okay?
The way the government have started to address this was when teenage pregnancy was very high years ago.
Yeah.
And they brought a program where children were getting educated in sex education from year four, year
from
three, year four,
age.
age about 8 or 9 years. So they started educating children what it means for a man and woman to sleep together. They will give them toy babies to bring home. The toy baby will cry overnight. They now make girls understand that if you sleep with a guy, you get pregnant. And if you get pregnant, you have a baby, and the baby becomes your responsibility. That's the way they've been dealing with teenage
Relationships.
pregnancy. However, what that did not tackle is this kind of emotional relationship where boys are not mature enough to handle rejection and girls are not mature enough to stand up for themselves and say, no, I'm not doing this with you. They are not emotionally ready to do it. And like you rightly said, Rosetta, they will go out there, they will do even if you tell them not to do it. The reason is because they read the newspaper on a daily basis. David Beckham's son, who is 15 years, already in a relationship. Very soon, Blue Ivy, who is 12 years old, will be in a relationship and it will be in the public domain. Emma Bolton's son is already the one he had for Jade the other day. Is already in a relationship. And your child is reading this, and you're telling me that I can't have a boyfriend, or I can't have a girlfriend, and they will tell you that, Mom, your perception of what a relationship is for your generation.
Yes.
They will tell you, in my generation, this is what we do. And like you rightly said, I have to kind of say, okay, can I see the girl? Can you bring the girl home? Can we invite the girl home for Christmas dinner? And then I'm going to tell the girl that you're all 16 years old and she cannot do adult stuff with you. And then I'm not talking to my son now. I'm talking to the girl. I'm like, you realize he's 16. And how old are you? 16. You guys cannot do that kind of adult stuff. I said, because I do not want a grandchild at this age. Those are the kind of lines that parents go into when it comes to
clever, because to bring the girl and talk and put the remind the girl, help our parents do their job.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Like,
because your son is going to tell you you're embarrassing. What an embarrassing parents you are. But that's the way parents are anyway. You have to be an embarrassing parent.
I want to take you to a place now to bring the severity of this situation back to you. When you heard this, right, you're a parent. Before the whole clarity came about that this is what happened, we heard in the news that a girl has just been stabbed before a relationship. How did it affect your home? What did you say to your daughters, Josephine?
I remember my 26-year-old, she came to me and she said, so, because at that time, I will say this, at that time, we didn't have the clearer picture on what had happened. We all thought it was a case of the guy was trying to chat her up and she had said no. That was what caused his anger.
Good.
So my 26-year-old came to my room and she said, Mom, you know what? Moving forward, I know I have a boyfriend, but if other guys chat me up, I'm just going to say yes. If they want my number, I'm just going to give them a fake number and everything. I said, no, don't give them a fake number because they might even ring it. And if it doesn't ring, that might lead into an argument. So give them the number, but you know what to do. You block it.
Yes.
That's what I told her. So, and then my 21-year-old now said, but Mom, but that's fake. She didn't understand where I was coming from. She was like, that's fake. I'm supposed to be able to tell the person how I feel that no, I'm not giving you my number and I'm not interested because I don't need anything you need to offer. I'm not just interested. So I now was not trying to counsel her saying, we understand. But if you do that, it might lead to, so it's kind of like a catch-22 situation. How do you win?
You see? So now, I just wanted to bring it like when it happened, because now we're settling down. Rosetta, when it happened, when you heard that a young girl got stabbed, all the schools everywhere, there was. What came to your mind?
Well, a lot came to my. I mean, my daughter is very young.
Yeah.
You know, my child is very much young, primary school. So and but I thought about my nieces and my nephews. They're out there. I thought about these young people out there. But then again, stabbing in London is a big thing amongst the boys anyway. And the reason why this particular one has gained momentum is because she is a girl. But this stabbing thing has been going on
for
for
years.
years, and it's
Yes.
our black boys. What exactly they are fighting for, I don't know. The government has thrown so much into
Money
it,
into it,
money,
yeah.
get youth workers on the street, create centers where they can go and, just go there. If it's to just go and punch a ball or this anger out of you.
Yeah.
And there are people to talk to if you're struggling with life at
That's right,
home. And
that's right.
so I, I still think they don't know the solution. We are still listening to news. They are still stabbing. They are still killing people. So what's the solution? I think it's really, really sad. And even the police, they don't know what to do.
No.
Because when they go out there to do their job, we start saying, they're pulling us
Racism
aside,
and so-
racism and all of that. Some of them are there to do the good
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Some of them, a minority of them may be
Yeah, of
racist,
course.
but a good number of them actually want to put an end to this saga.
this
But
saga.
they don't know what to do, and they don't want to be called racist.
Exactly.
So
Because even the search,
yes,
the
catch
stop and
20.
search,
Yes.
it was a big deal.
It
Oh,
was.
why is it only blacks? Why,
So, you heard when you heard the news before the clarity.
Yeah.
What was on your mind?
What was my mind? It was the shock that a schoolboy will have a knife in his bag on his way to school. That shook me so badly that I needed to talk to my children about this. And I was like, what will prompt this kind of thing? What will prompt a guy to go to school on his way to school, have a knife in his bag? And like I said, because my son is a little bit more older, he's 22. He was able to tell me the reason a lot of guys will do this is even they are in a gang.
Yeah.
And because they are in a gang, they have been coached in certain areas like, oh, a girl cannot talk to you in that manner. Girl cannot say no to you. Tell them who you are, that you are the boss. And that misogynistic mindset
Yes.
that they get that, you are the boss, the girl can't say no to you. She says no to you, you do what you have to do. And that came into my mind. And I asked my son, because he's 22, like, what would you do if a girl rejects you? If he rejects me, I go off and find another girl. And I think that comes with maturity.
Yes, it does.
Now, the question that you asked earlier, what is causing this? Like you rightly said, we don't know what's causing it. I think one of the factors that's causing boys to join gang is when they come from a broken home, when there is no male role model in their life.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a major factor to that. And number two, a lot of young children that have significant learning difficulty, that they have not been picked up as a child, and no intervention have been put into place for them. You will find that a lot of these people, if you ask this boy that stabbed this girl, did not know the consequences of his action. And you will be surprised when he goes to court tomorrow, they will be reading the court things for him. He will not understand those languages. He does not know what 3 months mean. Probably don't know that he's
He
going
has
to be
been
in jail
kept. He
for
has
3
been
months.
kept away because they don't want anybody to know his
Yeah,
name. or anything.
anything.
Yeah.
If they put him in prison for 3 months, if you say you're going to be in prison for 3 months, he doesn't understand what 3 months mean. If you say you're going to serve jail for the next 15 years, he doesn't have the concept of 15 years, that his life will be wasted for the rest of his life. A lot of them have significant cognitive and communication difficulty
Nobody
that they
picks
do,
up on. Nobody
yeah, and nobody picks them up. You see a child that have ADHD, you think they're just being naughty. You see a child that have mild autism, just because they can talk, you can pick up that
Let,
the child
let,
have.
let me come to this, Esosa. Sorry, I know what you're saying, and we're on this knife crime. Now, there is a blanket approach that the government is applying. We're all from the Nigerian community, and I met some Nigerian women in the gym by accident, and the first thing they said to me was, "Go to that mental home. Go and see how many Nigerian children are there. You, the community guys, need to get there." I don't see the government applying a community approach. You know that you said broken home. You know, we Nigerians, we first, you heard these things first relating to America, you know, because so many American guys in prison, you know, they come from a broken home, you think it doesn't affect us.
It does.
But I think the community can play a role in because so many Nigerian guys are involved in these things. You know, as we stay in the UK now, why is the government ignoring community intervention to the stage where we know it, like tribal intervention? You know, to say we have men in the community that their children are involved. You know, we have men that their children have been stabbed and they have stabbed other children. Why is the government not coming here? Is it not priority for them?
I can answer that question, but what I think is, has anybody in the community approached the government and say, we have this approach, and can the government fund this approach to do? Like, for example, in my where I work, in my industry, because I work as a speech and language therapy and I specialize in children, the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapy have approached the government to tackle it from a communication point of view, which means now we have now been assigned to work with the court, criminal justice, which means if they bring a young child, 16, 17-year-old, to criminal justice, the first thing is to have a speech and language therapist to assess that child. If child is capable, have the cognitive ability to understand what's actually happening in the court today. Now, if nobody have approached the government from a community point of view, how is the government going to know that the community have a solution to the problem? They don't know.
Should we? Go on. Go on.
As the government approached the community, that's your question?
Yes. Yeah.
You see, when you have so the government would employ more bodies in the youth sector, yeah, and build facilities. But to have that community, to get the community involved, you have to have a link person to do that. You have to have a link person. What's this charity we're talking about? I can't remember
Africa.
now.
I think Africa.
Africa does a lot of work. They reach out to communities.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that actually being followed through, who actually follows it through with the community to ensure that, you know, that work is actually being done and reviewed and the impact that's actually had.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of that. But I know Africa has done a lot and they continue to do a lot of work. Whether it's enough, I don't know. And I do agree that, yes, there are, when I say, yes, there are a lot of young people without a father figure in the house. Okay, the father figure is not the house, but there's uncles. There are uncles. There are aunties, yeah? And there are mentors. You have mentors at school. You have mentors at the community centers. But I just feel these young people, some of them are actually far gone, where you can't bring them back to where they are with the gang. Because remember, there are also threats against their life as well.
Yeah.
So you're walking around heavily with this
They are recruited at a very
thing
young
on
age.
your shoulder saying, if you speak, we'll silence you. So there
tell
is
your
a lot
parents.
there actually carries. You tell your parents,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Josephine, you think we Nigerians, if you look at the whole, say, ethnic minority, the Bain community, when we've been here for a while, and I think even the Somalians, you know, and stuff, they came to meet us here. You think there is not a distinction when a Somalian guy gets into a gang, bearing in mind there weren't any Somalians in gangs before, just like the Nigerians, you know, just like, because these are new people in the ethnic minority community. Do you think the government doesn't notice that if we understand their way of life, if we understand where they're coming from, they have been sucked into a bigger, you understand, problem. Let's approach them if we understand them
From a
better.
cultural
You know,
point of view.
from a cultural perspective. You think the government is deliberately ignoring that, or like maybe we haven't developed a solution for the government?
I think the government, they are putting a lot in place for these things. They are. Probably we are not seeing it. Because what we're seeing is the crime is increasing.
Yes.
We are seeing the crime is increasing, and then the government in the back end, they are trying their possible best to recruit more police on the streets, and we have community police, we have all those things. So it's just kind of like, you know, you just get to a point where what is actually going on, you know, because there are things put in place. It's just that we cannot see it, but the crime is still increasing. And, you know, we have a lot of a lot of people in the community, a lot of police, community police in the community who are helping, like Mr. Dugere rightfully said, you have all these community support workers in place, and, the health workers, all the professionals, everybody is involved. But it's just, it needs to be uprooted from the roots. And I think it's to do with the gang. It's
is.
just to do with the gang.
Yes.
Let me I like this show, especially when I have three women, and most times when I see a stabbing, like we've all seen, you go, you see the news, whatever beats they carry, and you see people let out balloons or stuff for their friends. But I never really see a group of black women speak to the youths about how this make you feel. Maybe we can do it today. You talk to them in your own way, one at a time, to say, stop this. You understand? This is how you make your moms feel. That was an only child.
Yes.
So if we start, because I don't see it. So let me start with you, Esosa. If you had to address the black youths in knife crime, what would you say to them?
That is really, really sad that we are killing each other. That children are killing one another. That's the most painful side of it. Somebody could grow up to be your sister, somebody that you could count on in the community tomorrow. It's you just killed them. And then the person, even the guy who killed the person, end up in jail. Both family lost. That's really, really sad. For parents whose parents are immigrants in this country, they didn't come here to raise a child that's going to end up in prison, or raise a child that's going to end up being killed in the street. That is the saddest part of it. That parents emigrated from their country for greener pastures,
Suffer.
and then to come and end up losing a child. It's
Thank
really
you.
sad.
Rosetta, what would you say to this young man involved in this, in our community and the larger community?
I would say reach out, because I don't know what they're going through. And it's difficult to reach out, isn't it? If you're holding on to something. But I don't know, even when I'm even saying reach out, I feel sorry for them. I'm saying reach out, but I don't know if reaching out to your parents or trusted people actually places them at further risk of harm. I don't know. But just to what you have actually said in terms, I mean, no parent should have to bury their child.
No.
And it's not the right way to go.
No.
It's wrong. Nobody has right to take anybody's life. So it's a very difficult one. I would like to see change.
Yes. Yes.
Whichever form it's going to take, I don't know, but I'd like to see change. I haven't seen it. I'm still struggling, wanting to know what exactly do we need to do more. Does the community need to do? Does the police need to do? The youth worker, the police officers, because I think they're struggling as well.
Yeah.
I think they're struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josephine, over to you. What would you say?
Yes, I would say we really need to stop this. I know mental health is real. If you feel, you're depressed, and the next thing in your mind is, to take someone's life or kill or whatever, you could speak to somebody about it, because we need to live as one, togetherness, as well as, loving one another, because
Yes.
these killings is just
Too
it's,
much.
it's just too much. It's
much.
breaking our hearts as parents.
parents,
It's
yes.
making us scared as parents. Our children are scared to go out, and the gang as well. I mean, you could have a gang, but let it be for the betterment of the society, not, for mourning or killing and discriminating. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate. We close this one on a solemn note, and may the soul of the girl Elaine Adam, the 15-year-old,
Yes.
Elaine Adam.
rest in peace, and
Amen.
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 And to her mom, I don't come up with
No,
words
yeah.
to say to the
Condolences,
mom.
yeah.
I leave you, ladies.
Yeah.
You're the only child.
We just sent condolences.
Condolences.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you
That
very
we
much.
go high in our prayers.
Yes.
Continue our prayers. It's the right direction.
Yes.
We'll be back. Thank you very much.
Go on.